As the sky shimmered with sunset colors, John was rereading the old letters he had found in the box. He found himself immersed in the personal details of Amy's life and felt that these letters might hold the key to understanding the mystery surrounding her. The letters were written in beautiful handwriting and contained details about Amy's life, her relationships, and her dreams. Some mentioned a local party that was being planned for that night, where Amy was supposed to be the guest of honor. John decided to focus on this event, as the party was a key part of the story he had pieced together. He arrived at the historical center late at night and asked the curator to help him analyze the letters. The curator began examining the contents and seemed eager to shed light on these old secrets. As the curator read the letters, he discovered that Amy was excited about the party and was preparing to wear a new dress. He also found letters from her friends and family who were looking forward to seeing her at the party. The letters reflected joy and excitement, making Amy's disappearance that night even more sorrowful. During the analysis of the letters, John discovered that Amy had a close relationship with a young man named Mark. The letters talked about their future plans and their deep love. Mark was frequently mentioned in the letters, making him a central figure in the story. John decided to look for Mark to see if he had any additional information about Amy. After taking Mark's contact information from the letters, he headed to Mark's house, which was in a neighboring town. When John arrived at Mark's house, he was surprised to find that no one was home. The house seemed abandoned, and the atmosphere was eerie and dark. John decided to wait a bit, hoping to find any evidence that might clarify what happened to Mark and Amy. As John waited, a long time passed with no sign of Mark. He decided to explore the place and found some old documents and photos showing Mark and Amy together. There was also a small notebook with notes and thoughts written in Mark's handwriting, filled with feelings of love and anxiety. When John returned to his car, he felt he had new clues about Amy and Mark's relationship. He believed this information could be useful in understanding what happened that night. He decided to return to the small town where he could search for more information. He continued his search in the town, visiting Amy's family home, which still held memories of that night. He met with Amy's parents, who still lived in the old house. The parents appeared sad and exhausted, showing little hope of finding answers. John talked to Amy's parents about their memories of that night. They said they had been waiting for Amy's return, but she never arrived. They had little hope of finding her, but were worried that something unnatural might have happened. Were there any threats or problems with anyone that night? John asked, trying to get more information. Amy's father replied, "We didn't know of any threats, but we heard about some minor disagreements that occurred at the party. We didn't think that could be related to her disappearance." While talking to Amy's parents, one of their neighbors came by with new information. The neighbor said there was another person at the party who had a history of old disputes. This person was named Tom and was known for his conflicts with others. John decided to look for Tom to see if he had any information about Amy. He went to Tom's house, which was a few miles away. When he arrived, he found that Tom still lived there and appeared gloomy and anxious. John asked Tom about that night and if he had any information about Amy. Tom was hesitant at first, but revealed some details that might be relevant. He said that Amy had had a small argument with one of the guests, but wasn't sure about the details. "Do you think this argument might be related to her disappearance?" John asked with concern. Tom replied, "I can't say, but I think something else was going on. There was a strange feeling at the party, as if something bad was about to happen." When John left Tom's house, he felt the story had become more complex. The evidence he had gathered suggested multiple threads to the mystery, and he needed further investigation to understand all the details. As John headed to his car, it suddenly began to rain. The rain added to the eerie atmosphere, making things feel more tense. John decided to return to the accident site to look for any evidence that might have surfaced after the rain. He arrived at the site and began searching through the mud and water. He found some old traces that gave him a glimmer of hope for additional clues. While he was searching, he heard a faint noise behind him. He turned around, but saw no one. He continued searching late into the night, feeling that something was on the verge of being revealed. The rain had stopped, and the sky was clear again. John felt he was close to discovering something important, but was unsure of what it was. With the dawn approaching, John decided to return to the historical center to reanalyze the evidence he had gathered. He had a strong feeling that the solution might be near, and that each discovery brought him closer to uncovering the full truth about Amy and what happened that mysterious night.